Three reasons why I feel Joshua Zirkzee is better suited to this United system than Victor Gyokeres will ever be. Number one, let's talk about his flair. Now, I'm not saying Victor Gyokeres doesn't have flair, but you know how he's more of a robotic player. He's more of a poacher, a number nine, than your traditional flair player. There is one player that Zirkzee reminds me of a lot, and this is arguably one of my favorite players that I've ever seen play. Roberto Firmino. Have you seen how crucial, how important he was in that Liverpool setup, especially between 2017 to 2021 when they were dominating, when arguably, along with the City Centurions, they were the best team in the world. You have to look at their wingers first of all, Salah and Mane. Amazing wingers. However, they were all shoot first, or they were always aiming for the goal first. And then you look at the midfield, it's not any creative outlet. It's not like Verts that they have right now. It's not like Turkey like Man City have right now. It was more industrious midfielders. When we say industrious midfielders, it's Wijnaldum, it's Henderson, and Fabinho. When you have all these players, and then, okay, you have Robertson and Trent, but generally somebody needs to link in the attack. That is how you enable Salah to play. That's how you enable Mane to play. Now adapt this to the new United team that we could have. In midfield, we have Casemiro and we have Fernandes. Casemiro is no more, he doesn't have the legs that he used to have. Fernandes is really a 50-50. It really depends on what player you get on the day. At wing-back, Dorgu is pretty unreliable. Ahmad, on the other hand, is very reliable. But the more you see Ahmad, he's a mix of, you know what, he can pass, but he can go direct at you as well. And then you go to the number 10s. You get Cunha, you get Mbeumo. What are Cunha and Mbeumo specialists at? If you were to say passing, they're very good at finding the final pass, but they're mostly shooters. You look at Mbeumo, he is a proper shooter, 20 Premier League goals. Cunha, 15 Premier League goals. But one thing you see with both of them is that they like to take a shot on. Especially Cunha. So don't be surprised if next season you see Cunha taking a shot from 35 yards or from 30, 25 yards, whatever it is. Because that is just Cunha's game. And it's the same with Mbeumo, only that Mbeumo is a bit more efficient. Which is why in an earlier video I'd said Mbeumo is like our Salah and Cunha could be more like our Mane, a little bit more of a flair player. But to link all these players together, you need a link man. You need somebody who can really play the ball, who you can play the ball to, and you'll get the ball back. Player who creates a vacuum for other players to enter. And that player exactly is Joshua Zirkzee. Almost every other game that he starts or he comes on, we always see players getting nutmegged, people getting humiliated. And despite the fact that people call Joshua Zirkzee fat, that he's slow, that he doesn't care enough, he's lazy, despite all this, somehow he's able to humiliate players. And why do you think that is? That is just simply because he has flair, guys. And we have to start respecting Zirkzee for that. Number two, let's talk about his mentality. From the start, from day one, how many people in this fan base have started calling Zirkzee, again, fat, lazy, disinterested, nonchalant? He's had to deal with this from day one. A signing that wasn't accepted because he was never meant to be a goal scorer, but he was just a link man. People were like, he's a 9.5. He's not a striker. So why are we trying to buy somebody who's not a striker? So from day one, he's had it. But opening day, he scores. And suddenly people, you know how United fans are. You know how football fans are. They're going to be like, oh, now Zirkzee is the main guy. He's going to score 20 Premier League goals, blah, blah, blah. But then it didn't happen. So now people are disappointed because they did not get a 20 Premier League goal striker when that is not his game at all. But the worst part came later on in the season. Everybody remembers the game where we lost to Newcastle 2-0. But I'm pretty sure everybody remembers that game, not for the 2 goals that we conceded, but how Joshua Zirkzee got substituted around the 30th minute and the Old Trafford crowd booed him. Booing players is one thing I've seen in a small amount. The last player that I saw that happen to was Pogba. And ever since Pogba, the next player I saw getting booed was Zirkzee. And I never understood that because whenever I saw Zirkzee play, whether that was an away game, whether that was a home game, I always saw him linking play and always being a part of the game. So I never understood why is Zirkzee getting the heat for all this. But the more you look at it, you see that he was able to bounce back. Afterwards, he pretty much forced Amorim to push him back into the starting 11. And despite all the biases Amorim might have, you know what Zirkzee proved to all of us, and now he is a fan favorite. Now everybody wants him to start. And when he's back from injury, you would expect that he should start. So, simply put, this kind of mentality is something that all our players lack. We all agree that our players need to be a bit more strong, and do players even come stronger than Zirkzee after being booed at Old Trafford and being hooked off at halftime when you weren't the worst player at all is already embarrassing enough. But to come back from that and to almost become a fan favorite, that requires some mentality, and that is exactly what Joshua Zirkzee has. And number 3, let's talk about again the tactical setup. So we're going to talk about mainly how Zirkzee, Cunha, and Mbeumo would work. Now, obviously, like I mentioned before, if you have Gyokeres, Cunha, and Mbeumo, that's just goals, goals, goals. And of course, that can be good. But that's all fun till you face a low block. Till you face Arsenal, let's say, who, if they come to Old Trafford, maybe next season, they might sit back. Because they're going to look at this threat and they're going to be like, ooh, we don't want to face that. So we're going to just put a low block. We're going to pile on midfielders. We're going to pile on centre backs. And we're going to make it tough for you to score. Then does Victor Gyokeres really work there? Because aerially, he's going to get dominated by Gabriel Saliba. But also, he can't run in behind. And pace is one of his big attributes. So what is Gyokeres really going to do there? That's when you see there's a player like Zirkzee, who is physical in his own way. At the same time, he is able to link play. What do I mean by link play? What I mean by link play is, if Ahmad needs to run onto a ball, he can simply just pass it to Zirkzee, and Zirkzee creates a ball and puts it into a space where other players cannot see the ball. Let's just say the vision I would put, let's say in passing alone, I would put Zirkzee up there with Casemiro. Simply because he can find the pass that nobody else can. And all I want you guys to watch, if you guys doubt this, is just watch his game against Crystal Palace when we drew 0-0 early on in the season. That will show you what Zirkzee is. And there are many more games you can look at in the future. But generally, it's that Crystal Palace game that tells you the entire game about who Zirkzee is, what he can do. And you know what? You know what's the craziest part? Till now, we were seeing Zirkzee play with players like Garnacho, players like Højlund, players who are not efficient enough. Now, imagine when he's going to be playing with Cunha, when he's going to be playing with Mbeumo, when he's going to be playing with, you never know, maybe another midfielder that is of a top class level. When we see him playing with better players who he can actually facilitate, not players who are going to just miss open chances, good chances, or mess up chances for him, we're going to see proper Joshua Zirkzee play. And if you guys think the same thing, if you think this is going to be Zirkzee's breakthrough season, comment down below breakthrough, and comment down below how good do you think Zirkzee is going to do out of 10. So if you guys like this one, then see you all in the next one.